All right. Just like that, we are live on all of the platforms here. All right. I'm really excited. I was just saying backstage here that I actually might be a little rusty, might be a little nervous because took a short sabbatical with this Channel CEO podcast as we had so much going on in Q1 of this year. But figured no better guest to have coming out strong, out of the box strong in 2025 than Mr. Pascal Bourguet. Did I pronounce the last name correctly? I've been trying to
Bourguet.
practice. Okay, Bourguet.
Yeah, Bourguet. I know that American people are struggling with the Bourguet, but it's fine. Any Bourget is also fine.
Okay, all right, cool. I'll go with it. All right. So what's interesting is that you do have quite a fascinating background, between Philips and HP, and obviously now with Lenovo. But the formal introduction here is Pascal's a globally respected technology executive known for combining strategic clarity with authentic people-first leadership style. And I think that'll come across pretty clear as we continue our discussion. So, as a chief sales strategy and channels officer for Lenovo's international markets, he leads all channel operations outside of China and is responsible for growth through global systems integrators, sustainability-focused go-to-market strategy, sales transformation, and long-term strategic planning. Again, some really, really cool stuff we'll get into. So over more than 2 decades in the industry, Pascal has cultivated a reputation for fostering trust-based partnerships and building high-performance teams across cultures and continents. Is this truly international traveler here, as you'll see again. But he has played a central role in evolving Lenovo's channel and go-to-market model to meet the demands of the rapidly transforming industry, always with strong emphasis on execution, sustainability, and alignment with customer and partner success. Man, there's a lot that we're going to get into, so we're just going to jump right in. So you've been in some very high-profile leadership positions throughout your career, and as we were talking about, kind of maybe the burdens and some of the benefits of a lot of international travel or just travel in general, but you really have a global focus. And I was looking at some of the events you've done over in Tokyo, and then yet stuff going on in France, what have you. But take us through your progression to this point at Lenovo, and like what was kind of the impetus behind kind of this global, feels like, pursuit that you've been on for the last 20 plus years?
Yeah, it's true that first of all, hello Kevin, and hello everyone. Thanks for having me. It's true that when you're going through the profile, like, there seems like there's a pattern out there. But really, it started in France, and at some point, it's nowhere in my resume. But I decided to step away from HPI and run my own business. I wanted to do a real estate business in southeast of France. And then HP called me and said, "Oh, you got to come to Geneva to do a bit of trade marketing for Europe." And I balanced the pros and the cons. This sounds quite a good opportunity. So I went to Geneva. I left the family in the southeast of France. Did that 3 years, and then at some point there was like a Mission Impossible in the UK, taking care of curries internationally, and nobody wanted to do the job. And I said, "Well, I'll give it a shot." I went to the UK, settled in the UK, brought the family, become channel sales director in the UK, like for a frog, like a French guy. The Brits are calling us the frogs,
Sure.
right? For a frog, being a channel sales leader in the UK was like not realistic, really. And then it lasted 5 years, and then after that, got sent back to Geneva to my first VP position, and was in the scope of Europe after the scope of the UK, which was quite rare, having both a French background and a UK knowledge. At that time, UK was the land where it's always different. Oh, we can't do that. This trend of Europeanization, harmonization of sales processes, and oh no, we can't do that in the UK. It's always different. So I was like, well, I was in the UK, so it's not different. So we'll get this to work for all of Europe. And then got to Lenovo, spent a couple of years in Lenovo Europe, and then Matt Zielinski, my current boss, came from AMD and said, "Well, do you want to come to North America and run the PC business for me?" It's a massive transformation because at the time it was a route to market organization as opposed to a category organization, which was supported by a sales team. And say, well, just do that 1 year. And it lasted 3 years. And I went back and forth between Europe and Raleigh, North Carolina, for a couple of years. COVID hit us, and then Matt got a global job, and he said, "Well, why don't you come with me in that global job?" And then before I knew it, I was traveling all over the world whilst COVID left us alone, and we were able to resume traveling.
Wow.
And that's been a fascinating journey. But it sounds glamorous to travel the world for business. But as we mentioned offline, some Saturday mornings in Charles de Gaulle at 6 a.m. when you land and you got to wait 3 hours for your next flight, or London, or Sunday evening when you got to pack and leave the family behind, it's not glamorous at all. So there are upsides and downsides.
Yeah, no doubt. You speak of conquering, 3 different markets as it's, ridiculously easy. And I know for a fact that, particularly there's a big difference between the UK market and, the French market, right? And then the same thing, like the UK market and Benelux and what have you. Right. I think there's a lot of, commonalities between kind of North America and kind of the UK, and then they kind of say the same thing with APAC, kind of maybe a speed to adoption, and just, the speed in which, the technology is adopted and transactions, develop. But what are your thoughts on that? I mean, because, having been responsible for 3, distinct, ridiculously large and different marketplaces, do you find commonalities between the different markets? Is it
the landscapes are similar? The DC landscape, the retail landscape, the fragmentation of the channel landscape. We talked about the fragmentation of the MSP landscape. Some of the buying behaviors are also similar. The sales cycles are similar. There are similarities which are translating into common sales processes, which is helping us as a global company to become efficient. Efficient in pricing, in time to quote, efficient in the way that we're selling, what we're selling, how we're selling it. There are lots of common things. Now, the cultures are certainly different. And today, running a global team, it's a pleasure to be able to perceive the nuances of the diversity of my team. I was talking this morning to a person that I was coaching from India about some of the way he felt after the meeting we had, and some of the way that he has reacted, and his management has reacted, and there was lots of nuances there on the way that we collaborate, the way that we respect the authority, we take the instruction, the way that we execute, the way that we challenge, we debate in India versus France versus UK versus the US. I was listening to some of the podcasts that you've made earlier, and with the person from what was it? The previous one, I had it there. From a guy from the US, Fox. What was it?
So is it Cyberfox? Adam Slutskin?
Yes, Cyberfox. And the style, I mean, people listening to us will figure out the style being very different. So there are lots of nuances in the culture, in the way people react, and this is what is making this super interesting every day. From a business standpoint, we live in a global world, and globalization is far from being over. But obviously, there are a lot of geopolitical also constraints now that are putting the business in a different situation, in a different frame, in a different lens. And as a global company, we are adjusting to those different ways of working and regulation as well.
Yeah.
So I would say culture and regulation are what is making us very different from a country to country standpoint.
It's got to be fascinating to, if you take time to kind of reflect on how much all of these markets have evolved over the last 20 years, right?
Yeah.
You talk about the rise of globalization, kind of the breaking down of barriers. You're working with cross-cultural, multicultural teams, different time zones, what have you, and anything that really stands out that you've noticed over the last 20 years as everything is accelerated, not just the technology, and we'll get into some of the AI stuff, what have you, but anything particularly stand out as I don't know, even like, wow, I didn't see that coming, or this has been, amazing byproduct of globalization, or anything come to mind?
Well, yes. Well, I would say that when I first joined HP after Philips, think about it, to the year 2000. At that time, the TV electronics was the category, the king category. It was the category that was growing the most, and that was having the biggest upside. And think about the landscape at that time. Sony, Philips were iconic companies. And then you see with the rise of IT and the rise of the channel, then the landscape has changed, and with the rise of the channel as well. I mean, when I was in HP in 28 to 2014, direct was king. At that time, remember, Dell was going direct, and direct was the way to go, because the direct was the one that was making Dell successful. And since then, the pendulum has swung to the other side. We realized that the channel and the IT channel was actually doing a lot of good to the business, and was actually a vector of success for the vendors that are playing with the channel partners. And this is true for IT, but this was true for some other categories. If you look at some of the distribution landscape of the direct model, is a model which has shown its limitations, and that personally I didn't see coming. I was pretty much in the belief at some point that having a balanced model between direct and indirect would be the one way to go. But as I've been going within Lenovo and I've been experimenting, the benefits of the channel are more in the mindset that actually the balance between direct and indirect is much more favorable for the growth of the company if it's indirect, because that's the best way to go to market with the lowest expenses for Lenovo and the highest collaborative approach with the channel partners, and leveraging the services of the channel partners whilst building our services portfolio, complementing the channel partners portfolio. So that also, that trend of the rise of the channel, and with AI, it's I believe it's going to be even more prominent with some of the biggest system integrators, according to a lot of our consultants. Planning on AI is going to be a very, very much a channel-centric play, with the big VARs and the MSPs and the system integrators, and that didn't take me by surprise, but that was certainly done in a more prominent way than I was expecting. I was expecting a much more balance between direct and indirect, and not such a driver of success being led by the indirect business.
It's funny, kind of looking back, even gosh, maybe even 5 years ago, it's almost like, kind of the analogy would be like turf wars, right? You'd have, Dell is going direct, then they're going indirect, then they're going back to direct, and then they got this kind of, muddled kind of model, and then, the channel didn't know how to respond or react to it, and some liked it, some didn't like it. And then obviously some of the other bigger organizations, as we talked about, had to kind of make the similar decisions, right? What is the best model? And it's also at a time, to your point, right, where, in it was going from just, straight hardware or, boxes, right? To now, the large box providers or hardware providers had to think more holistically, right? They had to think beyond just, all right, it's pushing boxes. It's how do you create this like integrated kind of end-to-end, technology platform. And so you've got this, I imagine, again, maybe I have a tendency of projecting, so I apologize, but I imagine that, you're in the middle of these, like, go direct, go indirect, the accelerated pace of technology, the evolution of technology, going from, again, just hardware to these kind of SaaS models, and kind of now having to think about global platforms. I imagine that was pretty, I don't know, maybe pretty cool to be a part of that transition, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. But Lenovo has been always roughly 80% indirect. So majority of the business going indirect through the channel. And it's true that it's a trend that it's been interesting to see growing. But you're right on the it was probably initiated by Apple, the hardware plus, and then a lot of the hardware manufacturers have gone into a much more prominent part of the services and the software in the business. In Lenovo, we still have some way to go. Dell is probably the one which is the most advanced, and then HPE and HPI within the big technology vendors. But definitely it's a trend that now the advantage that we've got is that we are consistently, to your point, channel centric. We've been consistently channel centric, and our portfolio is spreading from what we're calling from the pocket to the cloud. So we are with Motorola, which is a Lenovo company, to the PC, the endpoints, to the tablets, to the edge, and then to the hybrid cloud space with the servers, the storage, a lot of services and software that we can wrap around, and then the hyperscalers, as we are equipping a big portion of the hyperscalers in the world. So when you look at our business from the pocket to the cloud, it's a set of products, hardware, but also software, services, and solutions that we're able to bring to markets. And we feel like with a very consistent channel-centric approach, we are very well equipped to address, together with the channel and the MSPs and the channel landscape, the AI opportunity coming up, which is an opportunity for the next 5 to 10 years to who knows, how long it will last. But with and specifically with a very clear hybrid cloud strategy, and I think that in this trend of AI digital transformation or AI transformation of the customer, there is a very solid trend of data repatriation from the cloud to closer to the headquarters or closer to the company. And this is a bit exaggerated as well by the geopolitical challenges, where with more threats on data security, data privacy, there's a natural willingness for the customers, if even I'm sure for you and your company, you want to have your critical data closer to your premises.
Right.
So this hybrid cloud strategy through the AI digital transformation, we feel like we are very well equipped to address it with the strengths of the portfolio, because we can serve those companies with a set of devices and services and solutions that can help this digital transformation and can help them to achieve the business outcomes they want to achieve through the digital transformation.
Yeah, you guys are clearly one of a handful of truly global companies where AI can have just a profound, just transformational impact. Again, obviously we're talking channel and primarily B2B, but you think about, how you guys touch the consumer, right? The consumer side all the way through to B2B, and then, everything from on-prem to cloud to to just massive, I mean, beyond petabytes of data, but ways that you guys could leverage AI just up and down the stack. It's got to be pretty exciting, but also pretty challenging to kind of figure out where, maybe these are other teams internally, but, where do you place the AI bets, to come up with the greatest returns? Because everybody's thinking about it, right? Everybody's thinking about how is this going to impact and make not, just my job more efficient, but, make, businesses more profitable, what have you. But you guys have a pretty unique disposition in this marketplace, because you touch so much. And AI, I imagine, is going to be extremely transformational for you guys moving forward.
Yeah, internally and for the customers.
Yeah.
So the vision that we got is smarter AI for all, which is translating into a consumer vision and a customer vision. The consumer vision is about personal agents. And the vision of the company is that the device will be the host of all the agents that the consumer will have to play with. And by having like a super agent within the device that can manage all the agents for all the devices, the vision for the personal agent is to have one AI agent for multiple devices. And I think there's a lot of depth into this vision. So that means that think about it. In less than 3 years, 80% of the PC sold in the world will be AI devices. So that means that the device will be able to do much more for you as a consumer than what it's doing today, because it will know you better, it will know your consumption better, it will know you the way that you are behaving, what you're buying better, and that will help you on multiple devices. Endpoint devices, obviously, like the phone or the tablets or the laptops, but also some devices that we don't know today. Like smart glasses or smart watches or whatever devices that we don't know about, which from a consumer standpoint are going to be helping us one way or another through this personal agent. That's for the personal world. For the customer world, it's the mirror vision for the customer. It's a commercial agent, and this commercial agent is going to do what you need to do, but through the lens of the company. So again, it's one agent through multiple devices, and here what where we can help the companies is to get to the is it a growl or is it some kind of outcome where the commercial agents within the different critical application of the company will play a role in being the company being more efficient, very simply put, and performing all the tasks of the employees in a more efficient manner. And there, with the product portfolio services and solutions that we got, we can support the companies in the transformation that they need to turn around between where they are today to this vision of a commercial agent. I wanted to complete the puzzle with a commercial.
Sorry, I think how disruptive this will be, and I think we'll get into some of the things you guys are doing with the Lenovo 360. But you think about it as that concept of the AI agent and how disruptive it could be, generally speaking, to a lot of the kind of legacy products in this in the MSP specific portion of the marketplace. I'm thinking about the RMMs, the PSAs, the tools that were kind of the core bread and butter of this industry and how you serviced and manage your customers. That's where I think you guys have a really interesting opportunity to shake up this approach with that kind of AI agent-based model, because again, it's not just managing the device and managing security and compliance, but it's optimizing the business, right? It's optimizing and personalizing the experience for each employee to optimize that employee's specific role, right? And yeah, when you start to think about it, and I'm sure you think about it all the time, but just how potentially disruptive, not just potentially, how disruptive this will be over the next 3 years, and it could, and dare I say, it will challenge a lot of the traditional technologies that are out there in this space. And I think that's something that I think really MSPs need to be thinking about, and certainly integrators, that are thinking about this at scale, and they have some pretty sophisticated customers that are challenging this, and pushing for this. But if you look kind of the global traditional MSP marketplace that's serving SMB, a lot of the SMBs don't know to think about or don't know to ask these kind of questions, or aren't thinking about AI and its impact on the business. But I think MSPs really need to be thinking about this. And I think that was one of the interesting things that, again, reading up on you, right, kind of segue into a couple of things here. One, you spent quite a bit of time, been recognized for how much of an emphasis that you've had on, training and certification enablement within the channel. And then if you look at, the fact that you mentioned, 80% of the business is, indirect. You guys have some pretty significant initiatives with Lenovo 360 and how you're kind of these pillars that you've put together to enable partners moving forward. So take me through kind of the approach, right? Because you are you're a channel focused organization, but the rapid acceleration of technology, all the education you have to do. I mean, then you got these pillars of how you're going to market within channel. So take me through, and that's a lot there, but take me through kind of that structure and what you're doing to help the channel in this kind of initiative.
Right. Well, thank you for the segue. But before we go there, I just wanted to comment on one of the points you just made and the role of the MSPs on AI. So I was last week in Tokyo, as you pointed out earlier, and I happened to meet one of the leading, I thought one of the most innovative partners I ever had the opportunity to meet. And this partner is innovative because in just 3 months, he managed to get through a very interesting approach, more than 15 leads of small AI factories, so SMB AI factories. And the way he did that, he put together a small team that he called the Tech Mates, and did workshops with his customers. And the Tech Mates identified some of the AI transformation of the SMBs, were able to drive the SMBs, the stakeholders driving the transformation, into a repository, which they had, to explain them what they could do for their AI workload. And within 3 months, was able to turn around 3 out of the 15 needs into a PO. And the PO translated, it was mostly education and with different software integrators, but the PO translated into containers that are selling AI pods in a very simple manner, AI pods that are funded by either the business angels of the startups or some of the fresh capital that those SMBs had because they are very innovative and had to perform AI workload. And his plan, so he was able to sell them, so set up AI pods for those startups that needed close to the headquarters AI workload being performed, being made of GPU and a bit of storage, networking, a lot of edge devices as well, to compute the data closer to the endpoints. And this partner has a business plan within the next 2 years to drive 200 million of those AI pods. And I'm taking the name of AI pod because we got one of those with NetApp AI pod, but whether you call it an AI container or an AI box or everything for a startup in an AI box, or it's the same concept of something which is like a turnkey solution to start AI workload for an SMB. And I think for the MSPs, if I would start an MSP business today, after that meeting with that partner in Tokyo, I would probably do that myself. I'm too old and I'm too lazy, most likely, to do that. But if I would start an MSP business today, this is what I would do. I would identify those SMBs or innovative startups that need critically for their business AI workload, and I would go to them and either mutualize through a true scale multi-tenancy type of approach, or give them AI workloads to this type of turnkey AI solutions for them to be able to move into an AI workload overnight. That's just that's why I do believe the MSP has a massive opportunity coming ahead around AI. We're talking about 1 trillion opportunity, but I do believe that a big portion of this opportunity will be within the SMB space, and could be addressed by the MSPs.
Absolutely.
So having said that, I'm going to the second part of your question, which is related to how can we help the MSPs. So in a nutshell, we've got a framework which is getting the MSP to a bit like a turnkey solution, but to connect to us and engage through an onboarding system with like a white glove onboarding, and then as they are onboarded, they are getting access to curated digital platform, curated training for them, curated incentive programs. They are part of this community, of this MSP community, Lenovo 64 MSP, which is one of our pathways, and having access to dedicated marketing collaterals. So in a nutshell, we're trying to make it super easy for the MSP to start their journey into Lenovo, and through the journey into Lenovo, get access in the best possible and simplified manner to the right digital platform, the right training, the right incentive for their business and for their people, and the right marketing collaterals, and being part of the right marketing community. And you're right, certifications and training is a key requirement, because if our MSPs are well aware and well trained through certification process on all our solutions from Pocket to the cloud, then it's a way for us to ensure that our technology is getting well understood, and for them it's a way for them to win on the marketplace with our customers, because then they know what to sell and they know how to be competitive.
Yeah, how much of the training is focused on kind of the future, right? There's obviously aspects of training where it's feature benefits and understanding what we have, but then again, this is going to be disruptive, right? The world's going to change 10 times over the next 3 or 4 years. So how much of that is really helping the MSP understand kind of the market and where it's going, and maybe how they need to be prepared for it?
So it's really a la carte. So I think it's so over the last few years we have more than 52,000 certifications that we have offered through this process to more than 15,000 people within 6,000 or 7,000 business partners in the world, out of a partner base of we've got a partner base of 50,000 partners. So it's and we started last year. So within a year and a half, it's a big proportion of our partner base
absolutely.
that got certified. And then I do believe that one of the reasons why we've been able to go so fast is, first, it's part of our tiering. So it's part of our incentive program. So there's a benefit for the partners, but also it's down to the quality of the training themselves. And we define 5 areas of trainings, and some of them are very curated for the MSPs. Take an onboarding, for instance, for an MSP. This is something that you go through a quick training, and then you know what to do, where to find, how to get a price, and it's like, again, make it super easy for an MSP to be able to start a business with us and order from us, utilizing our bid portal, getting a price for the customer, and then getting the product, getting the services, and do business. Doing business as quickly as we can is what we want from the MSPs. And I know, having met a lot of them, this is what they want as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, I think, I encourage every MSP out there to go check you guys out, and we'll put some links in the show notes. But again, there's going to be, as always, right? There's always going to be emerging technologies that are going to be disruptive, and there's going to be kind of the mainstay, major platforms out there. But I think you guys do a phenomenal job of threading the needle, right? I mean, I think the hard part at scale is, as you know, again, I'm maybe preaching or projecting here, but hard part is to, ensure that quality training and that quality experience, partner experience at scale, right?
Yeah.
And very few large organizations do it as effectively as you guys do. And I think kind of where I'm going with this is that, if you're looking at where the market's going, you're looking at digital transformation, AI transformation, right? As an MSP, I would be looking for the organizations that are out in front, that are enabling, and again, the way you guys are positioned, potentially positioned, but currently positioned now, of being, basically a large percentage of an MSP's or customer stack. I mean, to me, it'd be a no-brainer if I was starting an MSP today to be trying to get hooked into Lenovo as much as I can, because of the breadth and scope of what you guys have to offer. Again, not just the product, but then the training side of this, because I think that is going to be so important moving forward. Again, that's just product, but just understanding where this market's going, and that's the thing that I've seen you guys do just super effectively over the last couple of years since I've been really paying attention.
Yeah, thank you for your kind words. There is also, I think there are a couple of things which are coming to my mind. First, the culture of Lenovo is very much the culture of a startup within a big company. Mm-hmm. And it's got with some upside and some downsides. The upside is obviously we are super agile, super nimble. We are very close to the customers. We want to do the right things. We care. We got people who are putting a lot of heart and soul into caring for the customer, and that's very strong from a cultural standpoint. There is another aspect of it, which is so that's a lot people related, you would talk to anyone in the MSP world or anyone in the VAR world or the channel, what they think about Lenovo. I think the first word that will come back would be, "Oh, we love their people. They are because people care. We genuinely care. It's ingrained in our culture." The other part, which is like beyond the culture, is our positioning now with AI. In a very channel-centric manner, with a portfolio which is dealing with all the parts of the AI digital transformation, from the endpoint to the cloud, with edge, with hybrid cloud, with servers, with storage, hybrid servers, software-defined infrastructure, with tablets, and with vision of this agent, we can turn around the AI digital function of a company with a set of services and product that can help the customers to move into an AI journey. It starts with a service. We can perform the service with AI Fast Start. The MSP can perform the service. What matters is the collaboration and the access of the MSPs to the different assets that we got, like Sales Sketch, Lenovo Solution Hub, for instance, to sell the NetApp AI Pod, which is our plug and play solution for AI starter kit with NetApp, is something that the MSP can find everything on the Lenovo Solution Hub. So for them, going to Lenovo, getting onboarded, signing up as an MSP, getting access to the marketing collateral, Lenovo Solution Hub, the program, yada yada yada. But then they can understand this and then go immediately to market with this AI pod. And when you replicate that through the value chain from pocket to the cloud with phone, with endpoints, I think we are very well positioned to succeed in this AI digital transformation of the customer. I'm very confident.
Yeah, no, I can see it. I can definitely see it. All right, so we only get a couple minutes here, but we did actually have a question coming here that I'll read here real quick if you don't mind. So quick question on MSPs. Does Lenovo have a focus and support in the legal services segment? Hybrid or local infrastructure is key to this segment.
I would have to come back on this question. I believe this is the case, but I would need to check. That's a very specific question. I'm not sure I've got the answer, but I'll follow up and find a way to answer Antoinette on this question.
Awesome. Good deal. Good. Well, Pascal, I really appreciate you jumping on. This is fascinating. As I mentioned, it's I appreciate tracking Lenovo and understanding kind of where you guys are going in the big picture. Just again, the scope and breadth of what you guys provide, and kind of how transformative it can be moving forward, and your role in kind of this enablement and go to market channel role is just going to be absolutely invaluable moving forward for everybody out there. And as mentioned, we'll have some links to the partner program in the show notes. And if folks want to reach out to you directly and connect, I guess I'm assuming LinkedIn's probably one of the best ways.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm usually quite responsive on LinkedIn.
Okay, perfect. Well, look, I appreciate it, and hopefully we'll have a chance to circle back here in the not too distant future, and we'll check in on how this transformation is going and impact you guys are having on the market. If you're okay with that.
Great pleasure. Look, it was a pleasure being with you today and tonight for the European folks, and looking forward to coming back to your podcast at some point to give you some good news on how we're progressing on this opportunity.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Kevin.
You
Have a good day.